Hey you guys, this is Raphael from ShilohRelics.com. I hope you're having a good day. We're just getting going here this morning, and I'm very thankful to get to be with you guys today. I want to take 1 second and say thank you for each one of you that watch these videos, and I appreciate you guys that have went on to YouTube and signed up. We're have added several in the last few days, and I'm so thankful for each one of you. Today we're going to talk about a gun that was requested through Facebook that I take a look at. So here we go. This one is a very interesting gun. It's known commonly as the model 1843 Navy box lock pistol. That's a mouthful, especially early in the morning. The gun officially is known as the 1842 percussion Navy pistol. And they're very distinctive because of the way that the lock is set up. Most of the guns of the day, the lock has the hammer, which is the part that cocks back and strikes the nipple to fire the gun. It's actually on the outside of the lock plate, which is just the simple plate that's on the front that holds all of the mechanics on the inside. Usually the hammer is on the outside. With these, they decided to put it on the inside, which is actually a cool design because it protects that part from accidentally getting cocked as easily and misfiring. And as you can see here, the internal parts are all on the inside, but so is the hammer. And that's one distinction of it. The other interesting distinction about this gun is that it's the first U.S. Marshal pistol, meaning a military pistol, that was delivered under contract to the U.S. government. They only made about 3,200 of these, and there were two makers. The first one, and the largest contract, is a name that you hear a lot if you watch these videos. It's the Ames company, and at the time it was Springfield, Massachusetts. So it's Nathan P. Ames in Springfield, Massachusetts. On the lock plate that we were just talking about, it'll have that marking as well as the production date. This one has a clear production date. It has the Ames mark. And if you notice, all of the metal parts have a little bit of pitting to them. And that's expected because these were naval pistols. Salt air, rust, that just happens. And so you expected a little more with a naval gun than you do a gun that was in the middle of Texas. So that's the explanation for those. They will also have markings on the barrel. They have the inspector initials, they'll have the US, and they will also have the production date. Because of that salt air, not every time can you see those dates, and that just happens. A lot of people want to see them, but they're just gone to the ages. The mechanics on this one works well. If you notice, it has a USN for US Navy. There is a rare version of this that you've got to look very closely because they're super scarce and they've been faked a lot. That will say USN. Oh, whoop. Rewind, go back to my trailer, learn my lines. It says USR instead of USN. Now the USR is for the United States Revenue Cutter, which was the forerunner of the US Coast Guard. And they had just a handful of them. In all the years I've seen maybe 5 or 6, not many at all. I've seen about 30 that they have taken the N and tried to stamp an R over it to make it more valuable. Because there's a lot of crooks out there that need their butt whooped. That's just the way life is. The gun has a few more interesting characteristics that we see on guns of the time. The sling swivel underneath the barrel is like that Model 42 regular pistol, not the Navy pistol. It's on a swivel and it pops out, and that's to keep it from getting lost. Great design. Because if your ramrod falls in the ocean, you're out of luck. This way it prevents it. It has really pretty brass. It has the brass for the barrel band that holds the barrel onto the stock. It has the brass trigger guard. And it has a small brass piece on the bottom of the grip that usually has an inspector initial. Inspectors' initials vary because there are lots of people that were inspecting guns. This one has one that is RP for Richard Payne. And he worked at the Springfield Armory, and he was detailed to the U.S. Navy in their ordnance department. And he inspected for the Navy Department and approved these guns. He actually shows up on a few things, mostly pieces that were made at Springfield, which is kind of insider trading, but hey, that's the way it was. But he shows up on these fairly regularly, and it's RP. The gun itself is complete. Sometimes they're missing parts, and a lot of times they're rough because they saw service and they were in that salt air and onboard ship. This one, you can go on to ShilohRelics.com. You can see lots of pictures of it from every angle. You can own this gun for $1,150. And considering that they only made, oh, I missed a big point. That's why there should be extra notes. I said there were two makers. The first one was NP Ames in Springfield, Mass. They made 2,000 of them. The other maker is a lot more scarce and to some people more desirable because of who he was. Henry Derringer in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that made the small pocket pistols that bore his name, the single shot Derringer pistol. He made 1,200 of them. And he made 1,200, they made 2,000, but the 1,200 are a lot tougher to find for some reason. So his will bring just a little bit of a premium over the Ames made one. Same gun, same everything basically, except for the markings, but his are a little bit more desirable. Now, let's go back. You can go on to ShilohRelics.com. You can see this gun. You can see lots of angles and stuff I'm sure that I have forgotten. You can own this gun as well as any others. All of our pieces are guaranteed authentic, and if you've watched these videos, you know that this gun was made before when? December 31st, 1898. That's the date that the ATF has determined as the cutoff for antique weapons. Everything I sell is pre-1898 because I don't want to do all the paperwork on the modern ones, and mine are sold as collector items. We don't sell them to shoot. Some people do, but I never recommend it. I sold a fella an Enfield rifle one time, and he said, well, can I shoot it? And I said, no, don't shoot it. He comes back in, he has this weird look on his face, and I said, you shot that gun, didn't you? And he said, yeah. And his head kind of dropped, and I said, well, how'd it do? He said, first time shot perfectly, straight as an arrow. Second time, it blew the whole breech of the gun out. Luckily, thank God, it blew away from his face. It could have killed him. And so, buy a modern gun if you want to shoot a gun. Leave these alone, in my opinion. Everybody's got their own. That's why they make chocolate and vanilla. I love you. I hope y'all have a great day. When you get a chance, please take that little bit of kindness that you've gotten hidden and share it with somebody, because love is the greatest gift. And I am so thankful that I get to do something that I love every day. I hope y'all have a great day. Remember that you're cared about. I love you, and I'll catch you next time.